Sisi tumetoka nyumba kwa nyumba.
We passed through households and streets. People decided to follow us because we have the right doctrine.
We have the right doctrine. Tuna mafundisho sahihi.
And President Dr. John Magufuli has directed Chief Justice of Tanzania, Professor Ibrahim Juma, to act on employees from the judiciary who engage in corruption malpractices which deny people their rights. President Magufuli gave the directive in launching Chato District Court as well as laying the foundation stone for the construction of the Rescue and Firefighting Force Office building.
Umekuwa mganga mzuri kwa mahabusu hao.
I commend the Chief Justice and the Minister in charge for taking your time in visiting those in prisons, because sometimes not all people in prisons are criminals. I would like to call on other judicial bodies like police who are involved in investigations of cases, Chief Justice Office, to make sure that all who are in prisons deserves to be there. After releasing 5,533 prisoners, to date there are more than 12,000 people in prisons, while 7,000 people are in cells. You can all witness that the challenge is huge in ensuring that the number of prisoners is reduced in the country.
Jitihada zile zile za kuhakikisha wananchi wanapata huduma kwa wakati.
These infrastructures will allow people access services on time. Soon enough, we'll begin constructions of High Court, famously known as Integrated Justice Centers, where in one building there will be High Court, Resident Court and District Court services. The buildings will have offices of all key judicial officers and will be built in Dar es Salaam, Mwanza, Dodoma and Arusha regions. The aim of the Integrated Justice Centers is people to have access of courts and key stakeholders in one building. It is a great honor for the Rescue and Firefight Force, for the first time since formulation of this force, is receiving this honor of being visited by the Chief of Armed Forces. Construction of the Rescue and Firefight Force Office building began in October 2019 and is expecting to be completed in February 2020. The constructions are done on a plot number 187, Block A, Bomani, with 3 buildings including Administration Block, Truck Bay and Horse Tower. 60% of the constructions have been completed.
And passengers traveling to Kilimanjaro by train have started to face challenges in buying tickets sold by Tanzania Railway Corporation due to internet problems, a situation that has caused many to fail to get tickets for Wednesday and Thursday. However, some passengers have said that they have been told that the tickets have been sold out. Responding to the claims, the Acting Director of Operations of TRC, Focus Makwesa, said the situation has been caused by an increase in the number of passengers.
Since on Monday, I have not managed to get a ticket. It is not possible. People are coming from other regions saying that they have already paid for the tickets and they are here to collect the receipts physically. How is that possible while Wednesday is the day that people come to buy the tickets for boarding the train on Friday? It does not make any sense. We came on Friday and told to come back on Monday, and when we reached here on Monday, they say that the tickets are finished. However, we managed to get the tickets after complaining for so long. Something needs to be done because people are coming from far places and sometimes coming here at 4 a.m. waiting to buy tickets. It is true that there are so many people scrambling for the service. That is why when the routes began, 2 trains were traveling in a week, but we changed to 3 trains. But still, they are not enough in this holiday season. That is why we have added another special train for Saturday to cater for those who missed Monday, Wednesday and Friday trains.
And the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Hamad Massouni, has directed the Immigration Department to properly utilize the immigration network to address challenges which cause delay in people getting passports, and that passports must be issued within 7 days. Deputy Minister Hamad Massouni gave the directive during International Immigration Day, marked in Dar es Salaam.
My directive to the Immigration Department is that after the deadline in January, whoever will need passport or visa services should not exceed 7 days. I will not tolerate officers who will go against this directive. From January, any Tanzanian citizen must get his or her passport within 7 days.
Linaweza kuhatarisha usalama wa nchi kutokana na kuhusishwa kwake.
If immigration activities will not be handled well, there are possibilities of threatening security due to its implications being increase in criminal activities like terrorism, robbery, money laundering and human trafficking. In combating this challenge, the fifth phase government under the Chief of Armed Forces, Honorable Dr. John Magufuli, is implementing this year's theme through the Immigration Department, where they launched Immigration Network Project. Following the project, the government has improved several infrastructures where right now the Immigration Department is able to release resident permit, pass, visa to all foreign citizens. In history, this large number of migrants has never happened before. This is because of people has increased 4 times in the 20th century. We have about 250 million international immigrants, while domestic immigrants are about 750 million. In other words, we can say that there are about 1 billion immigrants globally. In 7 people, one of them is immigrant.
A day after heavy rain wreaked havoc in people's houses and various infrastructure in Dar es Salaam, the Defense and Security Committee has toured affected areas and pledged to restore infrastructure that was damaged by floods. Areas visited by the committee, led by Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Paul Makonda, included Ali Kwamau and Mtogole in Tandale along Ngombe River, Kigogo, Sinza, Lego, Jangwani and Manzese.
Ya kwamba ni vyema kila familia ikachukua tahadhari ya kuweka makazi sehemu salama.
It is best that every family builds houses in safer areas and follow urban plan under the Ministry of Housing and Human Settlement Development. Following the rains, we are also sending our gratitude to all who have been affected by infrastructure challenges. In short, the rains were not very heavy, but because of geographical location of this region and poor adherence to environment conservation, we became prone to such challenges whenever it pours.
It
Was in bad condition. My house was engulfed by water. I didn't know where to take the children. We do not know what is going on. They said they would pay us compensation to pave way for constructions, but so far no one has said anything. This bridge is a problem to us. It needs to be renovated like Manjunju Bridge, which has been built with good standards.
The Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, in Morogoro region has returned 35 acres of land to a resident of Mvumi village in Kilosa district, Paul Ndomba, after he was conned by an investor identified as Harith Ahmed. The PCCB had intervened in the issue after discovering signs of corruption.
We thought it is important for us to make sure that this family is done justice. The man of this house came to this land since 2004, when it was a mere forest. While being arrested, he had left cattle behind, who are nowhere to be found. I'm grateful to God for this conclusion, because the Tanzanians were supposed to live in peace. And the support we got from your institution, We were able to learn so many things.
Kwa imani yake kwa sababu wameichunguza wale wakubwa wakaiona kwamba
The leaders did some investigations and found out that the sale of the land to the investor was not right. I'm glad that the investor agreed. I have nothing more to complain about because the investor is actually my neighbor. He found me here 3 years after I settled in with my family.
kama zamani.
And that's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Burundi has begun to exhume the remains of people who were killed and buried in a mass grave this Wednesday at Kamenge Ward in Bujumbura.
turarondera ibiziga kwisharanye n'abarongoye amakartier n'amazone hunze basubiye ruguru.
Just a few days after the former president of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir, was sentenced to 2 years in prison for corruption offences, the International Federation for Human Rights, FID, in Kenya has called for the former leader to be taken before the International Criminal Court, the ICC, to answer for the deaths of more than 300,000 people in Darfur.
We came with different recommendations. The first one is for the Sudanese transition government. They should set up an accountability system that accounted all the perpetrators. They do legal reform. They reform the security system.
And the parliament in Uganda this Thursday is expected to receive and discuss the constitutional amendment bill, which among recommendations it contains include reduction in the number of ministers from 80 to 21.
Honestly, you have currently over 80 ministers. Some of them have never appeared in parliament.
Currently, we have 80 ministers, some of whom are not known, and many streets and ward leaders who have no job to do. We want all MPs to work together to pass this bill so that we can remove those who wish to remain in office and in power.
Whose interest is perpetuating themselves into power.
The Ministry of Rwanda has claimed that 14.3% of Rwandans are severely obese, and many have ailments such as diabetes, cancer, as well as blood pressure.
This plan is a very good one. We are very happy for it because many of us who cannot afford to pay for tests will be able to see how our health are doing. A good example is immediately after being checked, I was found with diabetes. These diseases are not infectious, but you can protect yourselves from them by getting a checkup, eating well, and exercising frequently.
One of Germany's biggest issues when it comes to its economy is its lack of skilled workers. On Monday, the federal government tried to solve the issue by deciding on a number of measures to attract workers from non-EU countries. Deutsche Welle's political correspondent Emmanuel Chaze joins us now to explain why that is. So, Emmanuel, why is there a shortage of people to work in Germany?
Well, you have to keep in mind that here in Europe there is an aging population. That means that not enough skilled workers are available to fill out the job markets, and especially here in Germany. Here there's already 2.5 million EU workers, but it's simply not enough because European Union countries also need their own skilled workers. So here in Germany we're suffering from a shortage in skilled workers in many sectors, in engineering, in the health sector, particularly for nurses, in sciences, also in academia. We're missing IT experts, and we also miss people to fill out jobs in the construction and the transport sectors.
So how is Germany trying to fix this problem?
Well, the government and business leaders came together this week to agree on a plan to make the recruitment process easier, and that will take the form of a Skilled Workers Immigration Act that will be passed by the German Parliament at the beginning of March next year. Now, what does that mean? That means that businesses agree to help workers upon coming to Germany. They will help them learn the German language by training them to do so. They will help them finding a place where to live, and they will help them navigate through German bureaucracies. Now, companies will also endeavor to offer more targeted jobs at foreigners, and on the government side, the government will try to speed up the visa process for a quicker job start for those immigrant workers, and the government will endeavor to recognize foreign qualifications and also to develop an information portal to make those job offers more visible and easier to find for foreign workers.
Now, as far as attracting non-EU nationals to work in Germany, which specific countries is Germany looking at?
Yeah, like I mentioned, there's 2.5 million people from EU countries already working here in Germany, and it is simply not enough. So now Germany is turning towards other countries, and those include and are not limited to Mexico, the Philippines, Brazil, India, and Vietnam, for example. So now, why those countries specifically? Well, because there are trained, skilled workers there, for example, in the healthcare sector, so that would be easier for the German government and for German companies to integrate those skilled workers into the German markets.
So what has been a reaction to this in Germany?
Well, there has been, amidst the rise of populism and nationalism here in Germany, of course, many questions as to an uncontrolled immigration, but Labour Minister Hubertus Heil said that it was not about uncontrolled immigration allowed in the country, but about proposing a solution for German economy to still be viable. And German businesses welcome those new measures because they've been asking for more skilled workers to be let in Germany so as they can continue to have a sustainable economy here in Germany.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that report. Until next time. And that special report ends our international news. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Thank you for staying with us. And now in business news. The government, through the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, has begun preparations on an international scientific symposium on the value chain of forest and bee harvest that will be held in April of next year, with various countries in the world expected to participate.
Na tumeamua kuwa na kongamano la kimataifa
We have decided to have an international symposium so as to be able to gain experience on how to increase the value of our crops in various levels. Our researchers and stakeholders will also be able to get us information on the value chain and help improve the lives of our citizens. It is our responsibility to be able to give accurate information to brand or country so that the investors we need in the forestry and beekeeping sector can come and engage in the business.
Farmers who fail to get good harvest despite using good quality seeds due to delayed distribution have expressed concern on how to repay loans they have taken for farming activities.
By the time you plant them, time has gone and the rain stopped. When the crops still need rainwater and when it is time for harvest, the crop is not ready. They say that if this seed is planted well, we get 15 to 20 sacks, but due to the factors, we ended up getting 2 sacks. I urge our farmers to be trustworthy when it comes to repaying the loans, because this has happened in southern areas and even here. There were farmers through AMCOS that were given loans through TADB, but they are still struggling to repay.
Extension officers in villages and wards in Magu district, Mwanza region, have been directed to get out of their offices and visit farmers at their farms so as to provide them with better and more practical agricultural assistance, which will make them more productive.
In horticulture, for us, the government, the doors are open. We will continue to give you cooperation so as to see your dreams, to see small-scale farmers become modern and experienced farmers are successful. We work with stakeholders in various departments in Taha, in Arusha, in production, which I am in charge of, a marketing division, a member division, and a business enabling division. So through these 4 divisions, we make sure that a farmer is engaged in productive farming.
Kuna kitengo cha wanachama, kuna kitengo cha kuwezesha biashara.
That's all for business news. Sports news is up next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
And in sports, Tanzanian coach Juma Mgunda has admitted his side was punished for one mistake they committed against Uganda in the semi-finals of the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup yesterday.
Our Stars had reached the last 4 from Group B and were pitted against the home team, the Cranes. It was Fahad Bayo who turned out to be Uganda's hero with 5 minutes left as his pinpoint header evaded Matacha Mnata in Tanzania's goal for the winner. Mgunda believes his players should have protected the goal they conceded because they allowed Bayo too much space to fire home with a header. We've played against a very good team. We knew how difficult the game was going to be because we were playing against a home team, Mgunda told Go of the match.
Simba Sports Club CEO Senzo Mazingisa says the new coach Sven van den Broek will have full power to decide on the players Simba C will sign during the transfer window.
Van der Broek was appointed last month to succeed Patrick Awesome, and he has now been given the duty to provide a list of players he thinks Simba will need for a successful season. The transfer window in Tanzania was open on December 16th and will run until January 15th. The Belgian coach has been given a 2-week period to compile the names of his preferred new players. For now, Sven is preparing the players for the future assignments as well as assessing each member of the team with the view of getting to know where the strength or weakness may be in the playing unit.
Takumi Minamino will undergo a medical on Wednesday ahead of his £7.25 million move to Liverpool.
Bearing no hitches, the Salzburg midfielder will join the Reds when the transfer window reopens on January 1st and could make his debut for the club in the FA Cup third-round tie at home to Everton 4 days later. Liverpool believe they have pulled off a coup in landing the 24-year-old Japan international, having taken advantage of a release clause in his Salzburg contract. Minamino had been watched by a host of clubs across Europe, Manchester United among them, but the Reds' strong relationship with Salzburg, allied to the discovery of that clause, put them in pole position.
Former Manchester City midfielder Yaya Toure said Mesut Ozil was wrong to have made comments about the plight of Uyghur Muslims in China. Here is more on this story.
This week, the former Germany international called out the Chinese government on social media over the alleged religious and ethnic persecution of minority groups in the ASEAN country. His comments have drawn a reaction from the Chinese FA and government, and Arsenal's Premier League game against Manchester City was removed from the country's television broadcast on Sunday. Toure is a Muslim like Ozil, but he feels the 2014 FIFA World Cup winner went too far by meddling with political issues.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, I am Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.